Surron is kind of synonymous with e-moto these days. If you're thinking like Kleenex versus tissue, everybody sees an e-bike and says, oh, is that a Surron? That is a very common thing. Well, let me tell you, they make some cool bikes, and I just got my hands on the 2025 HyperBee. The channel is called WeRideTwo because we ride all things on two wheels. Love all kinds of motorcycles, but these e-motos have been taking the world by storm, and if you know e-motos, you know one name, Surron. This HyperBee is set up for children to ride on a 12-inch rear wheel and a 14-inch front wheel and a seat height of right around 26.5 inches and weighing in at only 83 pounds. This thing is tiny, but it's powerful. There is a 50-volt battery system and a 5,000-watt motor that is turned 90 degrees with the gearbox to a chain drive. Let's talk about some of the features on this bike. So in previous videos where I've talked about Surrons, I've always thought of Surrons as like the wheelie bike, the bike that people get to go cruise around downtown and they just do wheelies on and they're on the streets most times. This bike is actually set up to look a lot like a dirt bike. You know, a regular supercross style motocross dirt bike with radiator shrouds, tall bars, all kinds of things like that. I love the styling of this bike. I think that's the first thing that draws me into it, is it looks like a dirt bike, but it's obviously an electric bike, so it's kind of cool. One thing that we've seen several different manufacturers start doing is offering different wheel sizes for these smaller kids' bikes, giving you the opportunity to get a little kid on a bike or a middle-sized kid. This again is the 12-14. You can get a 10 and 12-inch front wheel. That way, if you've got a shorter person or a younger child, you can get them on this bike. There are various different ride modes that you can utilize to taper the speed off and make sure that you get your kid riding where they should be. And there's adjustable suspension too. Let me show you that real quick. So they make it easy on the front. You loosen the triple clamps, you can actually drop the fork tubes down at these different heights. They give you these measurements so you can keep it even between both forks, and it also makes sure that you don't go too far with it. As you pull the fork up, it will lower the bike down. If you want it to raise the bike up, you push the fork tubes down and you can go up a couple lines, brings up the front just a little bit. On the rear, you have a fully adjustable suspension with compression, rebound, preload, but the linkage has multiple mounting points. So you can rotate the top link and raise and lower the bike. As a lot with these bikes, you're going to see hydraulic brakes, front and rear. But what you don't typically see is this is running DOT fluid, so a DOT4 fluid like a standard street motorcycle or a full-size Japanese name brand motorcycle. You do have a headlight up front, just a small LED headlight that comes on when you turn the key. Illuminates okay, but it's not the best. There is not a tail light, there is not a rear reflector or anything of that kind. It is just the headlight up front. And it is built in pretty well into the bodywork, so you don't have to worry about it breaking if you were to crash. Let's talk about this elephant in the room right here. 90-degree turned motor. I'm not quite sure why they did it, if it was for space savings, if it was for balance, but the reason I'm not sure about it is because it's got a 90-degree gearbox that comes out to the final chain drive. It is in oil, so it's probably pretty strong. It's like the gearbox on, for example, you've got the RAR Mantises that have gearboxes. But at a 90-degree conversion, I'm just not sure what to think about that yet. So in the kids' e-balance bike world, Stasic is the most common name. And the Stasics run a 90-degree gearbox as well. And that tends to be one of the biggest failure points on a lot of those bikes. Just if you don't have the right chain tension, it causes an extra torsion on the gearbox itself and it strips it out. I don't know that that's going to be a bad thing here or a good thing. I don't have this bike long enough to do a long-term test, but that is something that I'm cognizant about, is that gearbox might cause an issue. So Jake from Rent EBoards Houston is letting me borrow this bike just for a few days so I can film some content for it, but I got to thank him for that. These guys are awesome down there. They are willing to answer any questions you have about all kinds of e-bikes, whether it be bicycles, e-motos like the Surron. They've got the full lineup in stock of the Surrons too, so if you have any questions about anything related to e-vehicles, give them a shout. Similar to the rear suspension on the front, you've got adjustable front suspension. You've got a rebound adjustment here, and then you've also got an air bladder down here for the compression. There isn't anything for preload though. You might have noticed that when I put my hand up here to talk about the battery, I'm touching the battery. The battery is actually exposed and on the top right here, and it's held in with this little twist off. If you loosen this, just by going counterclockwise, it will pop that to the side, and then you can simply pick up the battery. What's interesting is there's no plug, no adapters. You've got a magnetic sensor down there that runs into the battery. That's got to be the easiest hot swap of a battery I've ever seen. You just twist the knob, pull it out, and swap it back in. So in the event that you are racing any type of enduro race or long distance ride, and you do have a second battery, which you can purchase, you can very easily swap it in and out in less than 20 seconds. That's awesome. Now the charging port is on the top of the battery, so you don't even have to remove the battery to charge it, and it's a magnetic sensor. You can just pull up the flap, snap it on, and you're good to charge it like that. That's pretty sweet. Pretty easy to do. And there's less chance of arcing at that point too. I don't know if I can get this to focus, but the charger itself has a 6.5 amp output, so it's a pretty fast charger. It does have a cooling fan built in. It's a pretty stout system. Now what if you're just a big kid and you want to play on the kid's toy? The weight capacity is a little confusing because the website says one thing in one place and one thing in another. It says the weight capacity is only 125 pounds. But then on another part of the site, it says that the top speeds and the acceleration is based off of a 165-pound rider on it. I'm not sure what the actual rating is, but I'm going to go ahead and say that I can ride it. I'm 160 pounds, so let's go have some fun. Something to keep in mind as a parent, these are considered motorcycles. These are not bicycles. Take note of something like this too. There is a warning on the back that says, intended for off-road use only. These tires are not street tires. There's too much of an aggressive tread. They're meant to be off-road. They're not meant to be on the street. Sure, you can ride them on the street, but it's not meant for that. And a lot of the cops in certain areas might frown upon it because if you're out there doing wheelies, they might not like that. Something that I definitely do not like about this Surron is that you have to control everything from this remote. So any of the settings that you're changing as far as the modes and speeds you're riding with is through this. But there are some really cool features about this remote, like the fact that this is a walkie-talkie to the bike. You can talk to the rider can talk back to you. That way, if your kid is out riding and you say, hey, it's lunchtime, come back, you can do that. So if you don't have this remote with you, you can't change those power modes, which is, I'm not a huge fan of it. There's a button on the front left control that has a lightning switch on, or lightning bolt on it. If you hit that, that takes out of a park mode and puts it into a drive mode. All you got to do, hit that button once and you're good to ride. All right, let's start off with some just basic tests. Like for example, I'm in mode 1 right now. I'm at full throttle, I'm going 18 miles per hour. At least according to this gauge here. It feels about right, I'm not going too fast. Now this engine, or this motor, does have regenerative braking, which is pretty slick on a small bike like this. So if you turned up the regen, you could actually increase your range pretty substantially, just by coasting and whatnot. Now, yes, I did say these are not street legal. I am cruising around my neighborhood. It's a weekend. It's not going to be too busy. Hopefully I'm not in the way, but I do have a truck that is right behind me. And you know what? This is where it would be great if I could switch the modes without having that remote, but I can't. I can't do an on-the-fly switch. So I'm stuck going 18 miles per hour. And you know what? I'm sick of that. I'm going to put it into mode 2 and see how fast that mode goes. That means I got to pull the remote out, turn that back on, and wait for that to connect. All right, now we're on mode 2. Going full throttle, and I've got 27 miles per hour. Again, I'm 160 pounds, so I'm not exactly the target audience for this bike, but that's not exactly moving too fast. So let's try mode 3 and see what happens. Got to break out the remote again. Now, you might be wondering, why do I keep turning the remote off before I put it in my pocket? I'll tell you why. This red button here is a kill switch. This will turn the bike off while riding it. So if you have this on and in your pocket and you hit that by accident, you've lost all power to the bike. All right, level 3, top speed. Oh, it's got a lot more torque in level 3. 35, 36, 37, 38. 38 miles per hour is what I'm showing. And these brakes are pretty good too. I like the brakes, honestly. It's got some pep to it. It definitely cruises. Now, as far as the ergonomics for somebody, I'm 6 feet tall. I'm 6 feet tall, so I don't think that this, again, I'm not the target audience, this is meant for little kids, but for guys that are like me that want to ride pit bikes, this isn't like the ETR where you can ride it like a small bike and a big bike. This isn't like the Mantis X. This is truly a kid's bike. Like, look where my knees are compared to the tank. I can't grab anything, my feet are up pretty high. Like, this is a through and through kid's bike. Like if I were to stand up, it would be super, super awkward. But let's try it. Let's see what happens when I stand. Oh man, this is a tiny, tiny bike. I'm gonna get yelled at by my HOA, I'm sure. Oh man, this wheelies really well. So smooth on the power, it's not twitchy, the throttle's really soft, very easy to ride. Now if you've been watching my channel for the last 6 months, you know that I've got a RAR Mantis X and I just recently got the Mantis Mini R. So if you like these kinds of bikes, if you like this kind of content, I will be doing a comparison of the two bikes side by side to see which one I and my son prefer. That's not in this video. This video is strictly about the Surron. So if you like it, like the video, subscribe to the channel. That way you know what's coming and my thoughts on other bikes. Who knows, maybe I'll get to try out some of the ETRs or maybe a Talaria here or there. We'll see. One other thing that's really worth noting is the grips themselves. They are a smaller diameter meant for kids' handles. So for example, that grip is substantially smaller than this grip. If you have a little child with little hands, this is perfect. Adjustable levers, that way you can adjust the depth of it, but I love the short levers too. That's such a cool short throw, short pull, and short distance out. I think that's cool. But enough from the old guy who's too big for this bike. Let's see what my son thinks of the Surron.
Looks cool. Let's go test it out.
I love it.
Man, mode 1 is slow. This is my max speed, 18 miles per hour. Yeah, this is slow. I do not like how you have to control the speed using a remote.
You want me to change the mode?
And this thing does go pretty fast on mode 2. It goes the same speed as the go-kart and Orion. Wait, no, it's 3 miles more per hour.
Is that better? So what do you think? What's your first thoughts?
Like you said, it does do a wheelie pretty fast. Like there's a lot of torque.
Yeah.
Or is it torque?
Torque.
Yeah. It does go the same speed as my Orion and go-kart at second speed.
Okay.
On first speed, it went slow. And this thing does go fast. I'm barely even twisting my wrist, and it's going the same. It's going like the max speed that it's going at that it went at on mode 1. Oh man, this thing's fast, 37 miles per hour. So it seems like each mode is 10 more miles per hour. Blast him with a laser gun. I almost shot you.
So cool. So cool. Oh, I'm getting sprayed up my back. The cops. The cops. Did you see the police? What? That was the cops. Oh no, it's right. So this was your first experience with the Surron HyperBee. Curious to know. Give me your first thoughts. What's the first thing that comes to mind?
The laser.
Weird. Okay, cool. Final question for you. This one's for all the parents out there. Do you think this is worth $3,000?
It's not cheap for a dirt bike. I mean, yes.
So comparatively, you can get a KLX 110 like that for $2,500. Would you pay more for this over the 110?
Yes.
What would you say to all the kids that want one of these, that they can say to their parents how to get one?
Add it to your birthday wish list.
Kids. A parent's unbiased review of this HyperBee, I really like it. I think for $3,000, it's right around $3,100 plus taxes and fees. But as a parent, I think you're getting a lot of bike for that value. You don't have a huge top speed, but you have the pedigree of Surron. Surron's been around for 10 plus years at this point. They've been building electric bikes for a long time. They have a lot of aftermarket support. There's pieces that you can put on every one of the Surrons all over the place. But the features are cool too. The remote, I'm not too sold on that, but I do like the ability to talk to my son while he's riding. It doesn't have the longest of ranges, but it's pretty cool that you can still communicate with them while they're out riding. I do like the hot swap battery idea. The fact that it's just a twist on, pull out, and charge from there. That's really cool. It's really simple. You don't have to worry about switches. You don't have to worry about removing the seat to pull anything off. It's just right there. That's nice and easy. I do like the thinner bars for smaller kids, but I do fear that you won't have as many opportunities to change out the bars as the kids grow, or if you want a different bend because it's a narrower bar. Time will tell about this 90-degree gearbox, but from a riding perspective, it feels really smooth. The power delivery from the throttle to the rear wheel is awesome. The ability to wheelie, the torque delivery is really, really good. Even somebody who doesn't know how to wheelie can jump on this and not feel terrified. It's not going to flip them over on their back, but it still gives you the ability to ride a wheelie if you want to. I love these brakes. These brakes are awesome. They're really responsive. They're easy to use and very consistent. Did I mention it's only 83 pounds? It is super lightweight. You could throw it in the back of a car if you want to go somewhere. You don't have to have a truck with it because it's so small. Speaking of small, this is the RAR Mantis Mini R. This is the smallest version from the RAR. It is actually bigger than the Surron. We're going to do a comparison test to see which of the two bikes back to back are more comfortable for Calix, what he prefers of them, and if this is worth as much as the Surron. Because $3,100, $2,500. Let's see. That'll be in the next video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. You can watch all my other e-moto content here, and hopefully you will like to see this comparison videos that we have coming out as well. Thanks so much. See you in the next one.